My parents are completely ghosting my niece. Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today I have 3 stories for you, and the second story does come complete with an update. My brother and my sister-in-law have been married for 6 years. I love them both dearly. They adopted a little girl about a year ago. My parents were happy about this too, at first. They got really angry when my brother and sister-in-law announced recently that their daughter would be their only child, and they do not want biological kids. My mom and dad lost their cool. They told my brother he had to get my sister-in-law pregnant. He was the family's male heir, and he would have to have a biological son to carry forward the family name. This makes no sense to me nor my brother and sister-in-law. It's not as if we're a family of European royalty. Who gives a duck about the family name in this day and age? Well, my parents do, apparently. They've been berating my brother and guilt-tripping my sister-in-law, making her feel like she's taking something away from our family. On one occasion, they actually suggested that my brother leave my sister-in-law if she does not want to get pregnant and have a son with another woman. What's even worse is that they've stopped paying attention to my niece. Earlier, they would call and talk to her almost daily, but ever since they were told about my brother and sister-in-law's decision, they've stopped calling her. This makes me mad and has deeply saddened my brother and sister-in-law. The child is 3 years old and does not deserve this kind of treatment. Last month, brother told me that mom and dad had called him and they had talked about something unrelated. When he asked if they wanted to talk to their granddaughter, they said they talked to their real grandchild when my brother came to his senses and decides to give them one. I was angrier than I've been in a long time. I called my parents and unloaded on them. I told them how selfish and cruel they were being and how dare they take out their anger on my niece, along with a lot of other things I can't even remember. My mom started crying as she's not used to being yelled at. I used some very harsh words, but I just can't believe they're being so cruel towards an innocent child. After that, my parents have tried to rally our relatives, uncles, aunts, cousins, and our grandparents, to gang up on my brother and sister-in-law to pressure them to have a biological child. Male, obviously. However, their plan has failed miserably. Most of the relatives told them they were being crazy. Cousins repeated some of the things that I said to them. Uncles and aunts told them even if they did want a biological grandson, there was no excuse for the way they were treating my niece. Even my grandparents, who were quite old-fashioned, admonished them for their behavior towards my niece. My brother has banned them from his home. I've banned them from mine, and this ban will stay in place until they start treating my niece like their granddaughter, i.e., the way she deserves to be treated. I feel like my grandparents shunning my niece hurts even more because when she first became a part of the family, they appeared to love her. They would speak to her on the phone, play with her when they visited, but all that stopped when they found out that my brother and sister-in-law will not be having biological kids. They just rejected a little girl for no fault of her own. Hey guys, Mr. Reddito here. So I'm so happy OP did decide to defend her niece. I cannot personally believe how toxic her parents are, and at this point I do believe that OP should cut off her toxicness from her parents. What do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comment section down below. Some relevant background info. I make a very good living myself and earn slightly over 6 figures and come from a basic middle-class family. I live a comfortable life and manage my money wisely. My girlfriend of 8 months comes from a very rich family, like top 0.1% rich. Salary-wise, she makes less than half of what I make, but receives an allowance from her family's business every month. She doesn't even touch her salary and says it gets accumulated into her savings. She lives off of her monthly allowance from her family business. Relationship-wise, we are very compatible so far. I really like her and she likes me. She told me about her family's wealth about 4 months into the relationship when she felt safe and comfortable with me. Up until now, we split all our expenses 50-50. Recently, we talked about going on a vacation. We decided on Western Europe since I've never been there, and I think vacations are a good test of the relationship, and they do help move the relationship forward. I can afford the trip on my own if we get the normal route, where we book economy tickets and fly and look for Airbnb deals. She wants to fly first class and stay in 5-star hotels. The difference in the rates between Airbnb and low-end hotels versus 5 stars is staggering, to say the least, without even getting into the airfare. I told her that I simply could not afford that, and she offered to pay for me. She said I could pay her what I would have spent on an economy class airfare ticket plus hotels in my range, and she would just simply pay the difference. This makes me uncomfortable. As generous as her offer is, I don't think I'm at the stage of the relationship where I can accept such a gift from someone. The difference, according to my calculations, will be over $3,000, and could be as much as $5,000 once we actually book everything. That's simply too much to accept. I want to politely decline her offer and see if we can work out a compromise. Hey guys, Mr. Reddito here. So, I kind of agree with OP in this situation. That's an awful amount of money to be accepting as a gift. I can completely understand how that could make him uncomfortable. But at the same time, if his girlfriend insists that they have to have the highest class stuff, I don't see much of an option, and OP either goes with her or tries to go on a different plane. Let me know what you think of this in the comment section below, and I have a complete update for this story. So let's go ahead and hop into that now. First of all, I want to say thank you to everyone who contributed to my last post. I never expected it to blow up the way that it did and get that many replies. After a while, the number of responses got overwhelming, and I was unable to reply to many of the later posts and/or questions. I do want to clarify a few things which kept coming up in the last post. This situation for me has absolutely nothing to do with the gender expectations or anything like that. That's just not who I am. I suppose I should have expected that response from this sub, given so many posts about cheating, abusive partners, or people confused with gender stereotypes, etc. With that out of the way, I should also clarify in my original post that I'm not a big gift receiver in general. I feel uncomfortable even when my parents, friends, or other family members splurge on me. I also want to point out that people kept on bringing up scaling of money, and the $200 for me has the same value that $5,000 has for her. Yes, that's fine in theory, but it can still be hard to comprehend in real life, when I've never had that kind of money splurged on me or lived such a high-class lifestyle. It's easier said than done when people were urging me to accept her proposal with grace. Anyways, here goes the actual post. Before posting my last post, I already decided that I was going to turn her down, and I wanted to get advice on how to politely do it. After listening to the good people here, I opened my mind a little and decided to have a talk with her about our relationship, her money, and our finances moving forward with an open mind. She came over last night after work and we talked about her proposal. I told her I was incredibly thankful for her offer, but in all honesty, it did make me uncomfortable. I explained to her that it was because of my middle-class background and the fact that I'm not a big gift receiver in general. She cut me off right then and there and said she was sorry if she felt me uncomfortable and she was only coming from a good place. She revealed to me that growing up, she even had feelings similar to mine because she viewed everything as her family's money, and only after she matured later on in life did she start to not feel bad about her wealth and privilege, and simply start enjoying it for what it is. She told me she has a standing offer from her father to work a cushy job in the family business, but she still does not understand the value of money, and that's why she still works on her own. When we talked about her family's wealth and the impact it had on her past relationships, she told me that usually she's never offered to do something this big for anyone else, but she only offered this because she really trusts me, respects me, and has fallen for me hard. She mentioned that in her last relationship, she kept everything 50-50 because, well, she wasn't sure about the guy and the relationship. It got very toxic by the end, because he simply expected her to pay for everything. She said she loves my ambition and wants me to keep progressing in my career. All that being said, I asked her what it would mean for our relationship going forward if I did accept. We both decided that nothing changes, we keep on splitting it 50-50 as we have so far. She joked that she would not let me off the hook for future dates and expenses that easily. Laugh out loud. For any future trips or activities, we decided that we won't always go for the most expensive options or the most budget-friendly ones, and try to find more of a middle ground. Ultimately, she insists that because she had already made the offer, I had to accept. I did, with the compromise being that once we are there, we're going to split everything else 50-50. She will let me treat her a few times and won't be splurging the way, well, she's used to on vacations. I'm really thankful that this happened and we both feel closer than ever. She will be coming over on Friday to spend the weekend with me and plan/book this trip. I couldn't be happier right now. Okay, so I see this update as being the best possible solution for OP. He gets to go on a luxury trip and he gets to keep his girlfriend happy, and at the same time there was a compromise made. Do you guys agree with OP in this situation? Would you have accepted the gift from your girlfriend? Let me know your exact story or how you would handle the situation in the comment section below. Guys, we still have one more story left in today's video. If you're enjoying the content so far, show some love for the channel, smash that like button, click the subscribe button, and let's hop into the final story of the day. There's me, 25-year-old female, sister 27 female, and brother 28 male, and that's who is involved here. We were raised together, and until 2019, we believed we were a nuclear biological family. Then we found out our dad was not our bio dad, in fact, which even he did not know. It turned out my older siblings shared a bio dad, but I had a different one. We were also first cousins because their bio and my bio were brothers. Dad left our mom hurt, betrayed, and overall disgusted that she would lie to him for 2 decades. I was equally mad that she lied and hurt my father. My siblings were less willing to cut her out, but their relationship strained majorly. Dad moved in with me and then my boyfriend, now fiance, and COVID hit. At this point, all 3 of us agreed he was dad no matter what, and there was nothing that could change it. They found their bio father in mine by extension, and have decided that he is now real dad, and that our dad is just a stepfather. My brother has even corrected his 2 little girls who call dad grandpa, into saying he's step-grandpa, and that's what they call him, while bio gets called grandpa. It broke my dad's heart, and he decided it was too much for him to accept. This is after talks between them, where he was essentially told to know his place, stay in his lane, and demoted with the clear message being nothing would change. I'm so mad at them. They've tried to push me to meet my real dad and have told me it's okay to go back on what he said. Initially, they were invited to my wedding, but with this whole mess, I told them they were no longer welcome, and I did not want them to show up. They told me that just because they have a relationship with their bio dad does not change things between us. I told them it does. That if dad isn't our real dad after everything he's done for us, then we're not real siblings. Because technically we are half-siblings and cousins. That my dad is still my dad 100% and biology is meaningless to me. And so it was best for them to not come, because I no longer want them there. What I said hurt them. My sister-in-law, married to my brother, told me I was an arsehole for throwing half in their face and cutting them from my wedding like we haven't been siblings our whole life. I think that's almost more annoying to me because, well, that's what our dad's going through. But he can be crapped on and discarded like he's nothing? Guys, am I the a-hole? Oh my gosh, guys, this final story, I don't even know where to start with. I think it's almost ridiculous, but I will say obviously not the a-hole. There's one comment I want to read in particular. It states, British hobo, your brother and sister, yeah, half brother and half sister. They have no qualms throwing step in your father's face, but when you mention half, using to describe them, they get mad. Go figure. You're not the a-hole in this situation, and anybody who questions the relationship you have with your dad that freaking raised you is bonkers. Okay guys, let me know what you think of that comment in the section below. That's gonna wrap up today's video. I hope you did enjoy the content. If you did, you know what to do, and I'll catch you in the next one. See you guys.